Alright, in this video I'm going to show you a little special case that happens sometimes, and it is what is called a limiting reagent. Limiting reagent. The word reagent is like a reactant. Okay, limiting reactant. Okay, and here's how it works. Let's say, I'm going to be sort of silly here for a second, but let's say we're going to have a reaction. I'm going to have these tin caps. Let's see if I can get them to stand up for me. Come on. I'm going to have these react with these. So we're going to have a chemical reaction take place. I'm just being simple here for a minute. In a chemical reaction, here goes my reaction. I just made something new. I just made something new again, right there. And then I make one more. There's my reaction. I made something new. Reaction stops. How can the reaction stop? I still have some of these. It's because I don't have any more of these. When one of them runs out, it's over. So I started with something and I had something else, but when one of them ran out, I can't make any more products anymore. I can't make any more. Now, if I poured some more things in like this, if I poured some of that in there, the reaction can take off again. But it's going to stop as soon as I run out of one. That's what's called a limiting reagent. It limits how much things you can make. So let's look at an example like this one. Let's say that we had, in our original business here, you already have that. Let's say we had 2 moles of this and 5 moles of this. Now, here's a hint. If they ever give you 2 numbers, you're going to immediately check for limiting reagent. It's this simple. 2 divided by 1 is a change of 2. 5 divided by 2 is a change of 2.5. One of them is going to run out first. That number is going to run out first. This is what is called your excess. You got too much of that. How do I know? 5 divided by 2 is a change of 2.5. 2 divided by 1 is a change of 2. That's the one you have too much of. It's your excess, which means you're not going to use that number. This one runs out first. So as soon as this one runs out, I can't make any more of this and this. So if I use the ratio of 2 divided by 1 of 2, I'm going to end up with 2 moles of this and 4 moles of this. That's all I can make. I have plenty of this, but when this runs out, I can't make that, can't make that. Just like the example with the pens, as soon as I run out of one part, it's over. So this is the excess. Now, a lot of people look and say, oh yeah, that's the excess because it's the biggest number. Well, let's look. What happens if you have one like this? Same reaction. All right, let's say you have this. What's the change? 5 divided by 1 is a 5. 7 divided by 2 is a 3.5. This is my excess this time. So it's not always the biggest number. You have to look at the change numbers. So 5 divided by 1 was a change of 5. 7 divided by 2 is a change of 3.5. This is my excess. So I would use that 3.5 times 1. This would be 3.5 I could make of this. And that would be 7 moles, and I could calculate everything. And that's how you work that. They're not very difficult. Now, let's say that they didn't give you this. Let's say they gave you something like this. You have 70 grams of this and 140 grams of this. Well, I can't work it. Wrong unit, wrong unit. So I would take 70 grams. 63.5 grams is a mole. 1 mole. And 140. So I have to do a little extra work on this one to make it work. Grams to mole, because I'm just in the wrong unit. And I add this together, 107 and 14 and 48. So I'm going to have to add together again. 107 plus 14 plus 48 equals 169. So 70 divided by 63.5 is 1.10 moles. And 140 divided by 169 is 0.83 moles. Now I can work it. 1.1 divided by 1 is a change of 1.1. 0.83 divided by 2 is a change of 0.415. There's my excess. I would take this number and calculate everyone else. This divided by 2 is, this is the change, 0.415 times 1 is 0.1415 moles, and times 2 is 0.83 moles. If I had to have that in grams, I could railroad track that using that weight. If I had to have this in grams, I would use this weight, and I can do any of the math. This is probably the hardest part when you have a limiting reagent. You have to check. How do you know? If they give you 2 numbers to start with, you have to check. Remember, it's all about magic moles. You're doing great.